Morning everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Our Space, Our Responsibility video series. Today we're focusing on textile waste reduction, and I'm here today with Carole Warburton, who is a waste reduction volunteer and has been volunteering for Cheshire East Council for over 3 years. And we are celebrating, we've gone past the first year anniversary of
we have,
the
yes,
Holmes
15 months.
Yep. So Holmes Chapel Library Clothes Rail. So tell us a little bit more about what's been keeping you busy.
Okay, so I've been busy collecting coats, so we're now collecting coats for the winter. We've got 2 bags now of winter coats waiting for September, and they'll go onto the rail. At the moment we have a small selection of summer coats, of spring and summer, and I have some to put on the rail today, but I'm desperately short of the spring and summer coats.
Right, so how do you go about getting the coats?
When I do the posting for the Facebooking for the clothes rail, I ask for donations then. So the donations normally come in quite quickly. At the moment they have dried up, but I suppose we've been doing this for 15 months now, so eventually there will be a drought.
So do people just drop them off at the rail?
Yeah, so we have two ideas. So they either drop off at my residence, there's a box outside they can leave them in, but most people now, they come into the library, so it's easier to drop them off. So we have a collection of coat hangers, we've got a box, they can either drop them down there or hang them on the rail if there's room. People are happy to do that, and that's great. I just come in once a week, make sure they're okay, they don't need washing, they're fine to go out to somebody else, and it works much better this way. I feel.
Right. So what's the ethos behind the rail? Why not just take it to the local charity shop?
Well, so the reason behind the rail came about because we, as waste reduction volunteers, were actually looking at ways to reuse fabric. So
prolong the life of textiles.
Prolonging the life of textiles, yes. So
cut down on textile waste.
Yes, because although textile waste, there is an end result for it. Sometimes the coats that are going down that path, they're still usable. So I decided that I'd do some research. And in Europe, it's the idea to have give away clothes in
like a community clothes rail where they're gifted.
So that happens in the towns and villages. So I then looked at what was happening in our towns and cities, and in the south, especially around London, there's a lot of rails where they're run by councils. So after doing the research, I brought the idea to you, Alison. This is how it eventually was born. It was a long time coming, but
and it's such a brilliant idea, but since you've been running it, I've noticed them in the community. I was in a city in Wales, and they'd literally just put it in an old shop doorway. So it was covered, but it was outside, and it was literally just help yourself. And with the rising cost of living, a lot of people are finding that coats are an expensive item to buy, and there are many people who are quite happy to gift their coats to the community clothes rail, knowing that somebody who really needs one but perhaps can't afford one at that moment in time can help themselves. So it's a bit of a exchange situation. If you've got one to donate, maybe borrow it off the rail, you've finished with it, grown out of it, put it back on the rail, take another one.
Yes, I've had coats so have been selected, and then they've come back when the child's grown out of it, and it's been a note on it: thank you very much for the use of this coat, we're giving it back to the rail for the community. So all these things, people will come to me when I'm out and about and say, I love the coat I selected, thank you very much. So I don't do it for that, I do it to help in the community, because people are struggling. If you do look beyond the surface, people are struggling.
That's a really heartwarming thing, to come in go to the rail and find someone's left you a little note saying the child's now grown out of it.
Yeah.
But thank you very much.
Yeah, people. I mean, there has been the odd comments at why don't they go to a charity shop and then the charity gets money for them. Yes, some do go. Not, I don't get all the second-hand coats in the village. I just get a small proportion of them.
Yes.
The charity shops, we've just got one in Holmes Chapel. They get ample supply of coats.
And you know that because you yourself volunteer for them. So
my argument is that some people haven't got that amount separate to buy a coat. This is what this rail does. We also don't do, there isn't a children's charity shop in the village, so it helps, you know, young mums who are struggling.
That's right, and that's a particular point for this town, because the particular charity shop haven't got the capacity to take children's wear.
You know, at the moment we've got a few children's on.
Showing you an example of what lovely, generous people have donated. This is a little waterproof mat with fleecy lining, and lots of little safety strips on, and that is for somebody to help themselves and return perhaps when they've finished with it.
Pass it down the line, pass it to a friend.
Yes.
You know, they don't need to come back, and just as long as the coat has a second line or a third line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, how many, in the 15 months it's been running, how many coats do you think you've prolonged the life of and found another home for?
226 in.
Yeah.
And of that, 176 have found a home. So they've been actively taken from this rail, or they've gone to the food bank, because the Middle Witching District Food Bank, Cheshire East very kindly bought a rail for them, and they now have a rail. So some coats, so I split the coats, I ask what they need, and if I have the coats here and they've not gone from this rail, I share them with the food bank, because of course not everyone can get to the library to get a coat.
No, and it's kind of grown, hasn't it? Because
Yes.
people have heard about this community rail and they've asked if they can have something similar.
Yes.
So particularly the food bank and those in need that are using the food bank, they've now got a community coat rail there. So that's in an ideal location. But
so
also
that's in the food bank, Crewe. So the Crewe one will start in September.
Yeah.
So it will start, because I am so low on the summer coats.
Yeah.
I can't.
But you've got quite a lot of stock for winter.
But I've got winter stock. So there's actually 3 bags of winter coats. One's already got the Crewe label on. We've got the rail for Crewe.
Yeah.
So
look out for that. If
so
you're
there will be a rail
resident.
in Crewe.
Yeah.
Coming end of August. Start of September.
That's fantastic.
And that will be in the library.
Do you have much trouble with the sort of condition that people bring the coats to you in?
Sometimes I do get coats that can only be ragged.
Right.
But not many. Not many, no. I think there's been 13, 14 that have not. So if they're not clean for the rail, I will wash and dry them. So anything that I can take off and remove and make it serviceable, then it'll go onto the rail. So there's not many that I've failed with.
Yeah.
There's not many that have gone.
It's a pretty impressive legacy, having been running for just over a year.
I'll just say that hasn't just been in this area. They haven't all gone to the Holmes Chapel residents, because of course I do know people come in from Northwich and select coats. There's been a gentleman who's selected coats for children at his schools that haven't got coats.
Yeah.
And we do share them with Barnabas, which is the homeless charity, the food bank, and refugees. If refugees needing coats, and it's predominantly ladies' coats, and I'll see what I can do for that. So
amazing.
It isn't that Holmes Chapel. It isn't just Holmes Chapel. I spread it around really. People now contact me if they need a coat.
If they want to find you on Facebook, what's the Facebook page called?
It's Holmes Chapel Clothes Library.
Brilliant. So that's where you can find Carole, and Carole photographs the coats that come in and the sizes and so on, so that people can see what's available.